Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Sing Tao, on June 14th, Israeli forces launched a sudden airstrike on Beirut, Lebanon, killing 2 people, including a Hezbollah communications commander. This attack occurred just 1 hour before the United States and Iran were scheduled to sign a historic preliminary peace agreement. The timing provoked intense anger from U.S. President Donald Trump, who publicly criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a television interview. Trump accused Netanyahu of lacking judgment and jeopardizing the agreement, although he emphasized that the deal would protect Israel by preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Despite the disruption, Trump stated that the peace talks remain on track. To bypass the immediate diplomatic and security crisis, the U.S. and Iran have agreed to sign the preliminary treaty remotely via electronic means to ensure an immediate ceasefire. A formal in-person signing ceremony is expected to take place in a neutral European location a week later. Meanwhile, Iranian officials warned that the airstrike demonstrates a lack of commitment on the U.S. side, creating new obstacles for future dialogue. According to LBC, British armed forces and law enforcement officers have intercepted a sanctioned Russian Shadow Fleet vessel in the English Channel in an unprecedented pre-dawn operation. The mission, which marked the first UK-led interdiction of its kind, saw Royal Marine Commandos and officers from the National Crime Agency board the oil tanker Smertos in a 6-hour operation. Footage released by the Ministry of Defense shows personnel fast roping onto the vessel from helicopters in the dark and searching cabins. While NCA officers inspect the ship's documentation, the Smertos is being moved to an anchorage off the south coast of England for safety and environmental monitoring. Prime Minister Keir Starmer praised the personnel involved, stating the raid delivers another blow to President Putin's war funding in Ukraine. Defense Secretary Dan Jarvis echoed this sentiment, emphasizing Russia's heavy reliance on shadow fleets. However, Shadow Defense Secretary James Cartledge raised concerns, questioning why numerous Shadow Fleet vessels had successfully passed through the channel in recent months despite government pledges. According to a report by Liberty Times, an anti-G7 protest in Geneva, Switzerland, escalated into violence as demonstrators clashed with police, set fire to a Tesla vehicle, and smashed the windows of a United Nations office. The demonstration, which drew approximately 20,000 participants, was initially peaceful but turned chaotic as protesters began targeting what they viewed as symbols of capitalism and global multilateralism. Demonstrators threw bricks at riot police, who responded by firing tear gas into the streets of downtown Geneva. The protests were organized to voice anger ahead of the Group of 7 summit held across the French border in Avion-les-Bains. Activists criticized the G7 as a symbol of excessive political and economic concentration, pointing to rising global wealth inequality. Local authorities had prepared for potential unrest by boarding up storefront windows and deploying hundreds of riot police to secure the city. According to Judge Press, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi and her British counterpart Keir Starmer held a bilateral meeting on Sunday in London. Amid growing turmoil in the Middle East, the 2 leaders agreed to enhance economic security with a strong focus on stabilizing energy supplies. Takaichi expressed her desire to exchange views on defense, economic security, and advanced technology. Starmer welcomed the opportunity to discuss future partnerships in investment, energy, and other key areas. Additionally, Takaichi and Starmer agreed to continue their ongoing collaboration on the joint development of a next-generation fighter jet alongside Italy. To counter geopolitical risks, such as Chinese export restrictions on rare earths, they also agreed to cooperate in expanding supply chains for critical minerals. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.